Now, gentlemen, a lot of developments in the country over the weekend, and of course, it follows the continuation of the impeachment plan by the ODM party. And to be specific, the Senator Siaya County Senior Counsel James Orengo of what he termed as gross misconduct of the Deputy President William Ruto. And yesterday, similar sentiments in continuation of that were echoed by the SG of the party, Edwin Sifuna, saying that they will seek any means possible and mechanize whatever platform to ensure that they kick out the Deputy President William Ruto. All points to protracted war and the sense of political balancing point that has not been, of course, the imagined balance of power ever since the handshake between the head of state and the opposition chief Raila Odinga. Coming to you first on this note, Gabriel. Is this the bending and the breaking point of the ruling Jubilee Party? And to what extent does the president need to come on board now to show some sense of leadership because the House isn't well?
Thank you, Ayub, for having me and bring me back again. I think this is a very good debate that we should be having. I know last week the headlines were actually talking about the very same thing. One thing you need to realize is that, and what has shocked me really, is that several MPs and legislators from the ODM side and the NASA fraternity have actually distanced themselves from Orengo. Now, when you look at the Constitution, Orengo, yes, gives us, a timely element of what that Constitution or what the Constitution talks about impeaching a sitting deputy president. And you can see it very clearly defined in Articles 150. Yeah. Articles 144 and I think 145 also gives us a framework of how you can go ahead and also impeach a sitting president. So that's not something new. The question that we need to be asking ourselves, Ayub, is this: what is the reality on the ground? How possible is that move? And I think that's what breaks the camel's back, because it is very hard. Unless you're talking about a Jubilee that is so divided, only then would you be able to amass numbers to actually bring a motion like that in Parliament. You're talking about a party, or if I may call it that, or a coalition called Jubilee, which has a near supermajority in Parliament. And that's where the motion would start. I mean, you have to ask yourself, how will it start? How will it even gain traction? So to me, I think I look at somebody disseminating information versus what is on the ground. The reality of things, really, it is very hard to push a motion like that. But that does not mean, Ayub, that just because it is an uphill task right now does not mean it's not an option in the near future. So I think Jubilee must remain very watchful if they are going to, to remain together. I've always said, depending on what they want to achieve as a coalition or as a party, it will depend primarily on how together they stick. And really, the other dragon that they have to slay is the dragon of corruption. Once they are able to do that, then I think we should be heading in the right place. And finalizing on what Orengo has said. Somebody actually made it clear that they were going to push that avenue. One Morade made it very clear when he left Jubilee that that's an avenue they were going to pursue. And that avenue was to ensure that Deputy President William Ruto does not ascend to power. So we expect a lot of machinations. Politically, we expect a lot. And I think we are going to be playing in those whims, I think, until 2022. Right. I'm just afraid that's how it's going to be.
I choose to go with what you have said, second, that probably this is just the laying of ground of so much battle placed, of course, on the head of Deputy President William Ruto. We should not overlook the fact that in as much as maybe we have argued, or maybe the politicians themselves have argued that probably this fight against corruption is not mated on one particular person, is not facing one angle. Reality is that we know our politics. Most of the times when we want to scrap off somebody, there will always be ground lay and hearing and everything up until you reach to this particular individual. And in as much as we'd say that probably this, impeachment proposal is dead on arrival, reality is that, like you have said, this could be a placement for the future. Of course. And we're likely to see this. And genuinely speaking, coming to you, Kinuthia, anyone who knows Orengo very well, they would probably look at this as something that, you would look at him and realize that probably there's no seriousness in this. In your own opinion, is it the laying of ground of a near future, of course, motion of impeachment, or basically it's a way of him trying to gauge the political ground and the muscle of the deputy president?
A very good morning. Number one, I think it's amazing what you can achieve in this country with 10,000 shillings and a toilet nearby. So let us not be let us not close our minds to that. It has been proven that with 10,000 shillings, and if you have a toilet nearby, you can be able to buy very many members of parliament in this country.
Right.
And I think they like it best when it's given near the toilet or inside the toilet and in cash. And 10,000 is sufficient to do wonders in this nation. So in terms of the constitutional provisions, the threshold is too high. I don't see these people being able to achieve that quickly. But again, as I said, with 10,000 shillings and the proximity of a toilet, it's possible to achieve wonders in this country. So all I'm trying to say is we have members of parliament whose spine is close to not there. I mean, these are people you can buy when you want them, how you want them, at the price that you dictate, which is very unfortunate. Because when we saw that list, it had 176 MPs, yes, close to. So, and for this bill to go through the first stage, you need about 133 or thereabout. So if we could have bought 170 MPs at 10,000 shillings each, I don't know how they queued toward that toilet, then it tells you that anything is possible in this nation. But the threshold for this one is really high. The stakes are too high. I think even the person they want to impeach would have a lot more than 10,000 to give anyway as a counter. So that may not happen. But also, I think the biggest challenge that is happening to Deputy President William Ruto is he made himself an obvious target, and he made himself an obvious target too early. Those nations that went to war with a white man in an open field lost very many men. One of the reasons why Kenya was able to fight to the point that she got her independence is because she did a guerrilla warfare. And the Mau Mau were able to hide and engage the white man for a very long time, for as long as Kenyatta was in detention. What's happening with William Ruto, and I don't know why he has chosen to go that direction, is he's made himself an open target in an open field. So everybody who wants the presidency or who does not want him to be president is fighting him. If I was William, I would have not used that kind of tactic.